Hey everyone, it's Brian. Welcome to my kitchen. It's Monday. Where we're at in Rhode Island, the nights are getting cold now. So at this point, it's kind of like for me, it's all about kicking in and making the fall cooking stuff, soups, chilies, things like that. My favorite time of the year to kind of make get into the baking season. But what I wanted to kind of show you guys today is a couple of quick tools that's really going to help you to make fast dinners, okay? And really kind of take all the guesswork out of everything, okay? The one we're going to actually use tonight, the two we're going to use tonight are our power tools. I love these two tools right here. This here is our Pampered Chef Quick Cooker, and the one behind it, which I'm going to kind of show you in a minute, after we move this one, is our deluxe air fryer. You know, I hear from a lot of people who they talk about cooking, and some people say that, they really don't know how to cook. Some people say they're tired of making the same old, same old. Some people say, it's all about space in the kitchen or not having enough room to prep and all of that kind of stuff. Let me first start off by kind of addressing the question or the comment that people say that they're really not knowledgeable in the kitchen. My response to that is, you don't have to be knowledgeable in the kitchen. Yes, there are lots of people out there who love to cook, who've been cooking for years, who know how to cook. But if you're not knowledgeable in the kitchen, or you feel you're not knowledgeable in the kitchen, let me give you a couple of quick tips to solve that problem. One, making meals is all about 90% inspiration. What inspires you to cook? What inspires you that you like to eat? The other 10% is about the preparation, okay? But in addition to that, to solve some of those problems of maybe you feeling not being knowledgeable in the kitchen, it's about having the right tools. If you have the right tools that help you in that process, cooking becomes very easy. You don't need to have a ton of recipes. All you need to have is a few good recipes that you can alter in different ways. For instance, we're making beef stew tonight. You would simply substitute the beef for the chicken, and you would have chicken stew, or your favorite meat, or substitute and leave out the beef altogether and have a vegetable stew. So there you have 3 different soups right there. So it's not about having a file full of recipes or all the knowledge in the world. It's about having the right tools. Second of all, I want to address those people who say it's about space. If you saw the full size of my kitchen, what you're looking to back there is actually my dining room. But my kitchen ends right here. Okay, this is my whole kitchen. So from here to that wall, which is right behind you, my kitchen is no more than about 10 feet wide by maybe 10 feet long, if that. And it's got a big island right in the middle. So it's not really space in here, okay? But utilizing the space that you have is where it's key. So take a quick look around your counters. Look at things that you haven't used in a while. Put them someplace else. Throw them out. If they're there for just decorations, then they're useless in your kitchen. That's the bottom line. You do the decorations in the living room, the dining room, okay? But the idea is you maximize your space. And I've showed you some pictures of how I do that, and I maximize my space, but ultimately, it's all about maximizing the little space you have, okay? Don't let a 20-minute recipe turn into an hour-long recipe because you can't find your tools, okay? One of these videos coming up sometime in the near future, I'm going to show you what my cabinets look like. You guys really haven't seen that. You kind of saw what I did with the shoe rack over the dining room, in the closet in the dining room, to kind of organize that stuff. But the idea really is organize what you have, okay? And you always want to make sure that the tools, the 5, 6, 7, 8 tools you use regularly, are within arm's reach of the stove. That'll save you space of trying to find things and with walking around and that kind of stuff, okay? So there's a couple of quick tips there. in terms of preparation and what to make, the simplest tips I can give you with that is this. How you cook and how your family eats all depends on how the person who does the grocery shopping does it. You get bored with the same old stuff because chances are you're buying the same old stuff. Yes, some of it may be family favorites, but the idea behind that is don't write a list. I mean, obviously write a list of your basic stuff, but let what's on sale in the stores guide you. Let what's kind of in family packs, even if you're not cooking for family, purchase those, because ultimately it takes no longer to cook one chicken breast on the stove than it does 5. So there you go. 1 for dinner and then have the rest for later. But the idea is break up the monotony of your mealtime planning by changing how you grocery shop. Okay, so there's some tips there that'll help you kind of guide you through, hopefully, getting over some of those obstacles, you want to call them, in the kitchen. Okay, so we're going to kind of dive in and we're going to actually make beef stew. Okay, so as I said right here, I've got the quick cooker here. Now I'm not going to write down the recipes. I'm going to tell you what I have here, and then you can kind of take it from there. Okay. In our stainless steel mixing bowls, I love these. They come with covers. They keep things nice and cold. By the way, if you're storing meat or cooked foods, stainless is the best resource to store them in. Stainless won't hold bacteria, okay? But I have 3 pounds, a little over 3 pounds of stew meat, okay? And I have about 3/4 of a cup of just plain old flour. Now, if you're gluten-free, obviously you would use gluten-free flour, okay? Hi, Laurie, how are you? But what I did was, in here I just added some salt and some pepper, and that's all to taste, okay? And I'm going to actually just pour this in, and I'm going to save just a little bit, but I'm going to pour this right over the meat. Now, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I'm going to actually sear the meat in our quick cooker, okay? So you're just going to kind of toss this around a little bit, and you want to kind of coat it, okay? So that all the meat is coated. This will also help to keep in the juices of the meat. You can season this with whatever you want. Like I said, I just did a basic flour, salt, and pepper. Okay. And now I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you the quick cooker. You guys can see this. Let me see if I can move this a little bit closer. Ooh, closer for you. There you go. Okay. What I love about the quick cooker is, one, it turns even the cheapest meats into soft and very moist meats. Hi, Jackie, how are you? But in addition to that, it's all about cooking things much faster because you're cooking them with pressure. You're not cooking them by boiling them. Hi, Robin, how are you? What time is dinner? As soon as as soon as the stew is done. Okay. What I love about the quick cooker is it actually has preset settings on it already. So it takes the guesswork out of it all, okay? It will actually, let me put my glasses on so I can kind of see the buttons here. I'm blind as a bat. Getting old stinks. It's actually got a sear, a steam, slow cook, white rice, brown rice, whole grains, chicken or poultry, beef and pork, fresh seafood, soups and stock, beans, chili and stew, and desserts. Yes, you can even make cheesecake in here. Robin, this one's for you. So basically, you're going to take the top off, okay? It has a 6-quart stainless steel bowl, which is dishwasher safe. Now, for this first step, we're going to actually put it on sear. So think of this as your frying pan, okay? And then we've got it on sear, the blue light is lit up. We're gonna hit start. Now this bowl will get hot, so you wanna be careful not to touch it while it's on sear. A lot of problems that people had with pressure cookers was the safety features. This has all kinds of great safety features in place. One, it's an automatic shut off. it's an automatic stop cooking, and then it goes to a warm cycle. But in addition to that, here's the top. Okay, you have your pressure release valve, and the valve, once the pressure is built up and the dinner is done, the valve will actually tilt. If I can show this to you, the valve will actually tilt away from you. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, so the steam is going to go away from you. Hey Dan, how are you? So we're going to let this kind of warm up, and you can see it's already getting hot. You don't want to kind of throw everything in there right now. You want to kind of just let it get hot first. I got to get a bowl. Let me wet this out. There we go. Okay. And this is going to be for the beef, because we are going to sear the beef, but we're going to take it out for a second. I'm going to show you why we're going to take it out. Okay. But this is hot enough now where we can actually dump in the beef. And this is 3 pounds of beef. So realistically, you could have done this in batches. But for video purposes, I'm not really going to do it in batches. I'm just going to kind of do it so that you guys kind of see the concept of this, of how it gets brown. I love this cycle of it because it helps to create little fronts at the bottom, those brown little pieces at the bottom, which really give you good gravies and sauces, okay? So we're going to kind of let this sear, and in the meantime, while it's searing, I'm going to tell you the rest of the recipe. So we've got 3 pounds of beef, 3/4 cup of flour. We've got 2 cups of carrots and 3 good-sized baking potatoes, okay? And 1 good-sized onion. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Ebony. 1 good-sized onion. I chose white onions for this. And believe it or not, a lot of people just go to the store and they buy onions. You want to mix it up. You want to always buy some white ones, some yellow ones, some red ones, some Vidalia onions if you happen to get them in that season. Vidalia onions make the best dressing. So you kind of poach them or steam them, grind them up in a food processor or in a blender, add your oil and your vinegar. It's the most amazing dressings you're going to find, okay? And you can kind of hear this. I hope you can hear it. So it's already started, and it's kind of browning nice. Don't be afraid to get in there, and in this case, because I have a lot in there, to stir up that meat, okay? I just got to grab a spoon because I'm going to need that for when that's done. Alright, so what I did was I went ahead before the video started. I peeled the potatoes and I peeled the carrots. Okay? So we're just going to kind of take the peeled carrots out. I just had them soaking in water so they don't discolor. Okay? And what we're going to do, I'll give you another bowl. What we're going to do is actually use our quick slice for the carrots and the onion. And then I'm going to chunk up the potatoes, okay? You want to kind of, with the potatoes, you want to kind of make sure you kind of get them cut to bite size like everything else. Now, I put onions in my beef stew. I know some people do, some people don't. Let me know if you do, or let me know what your secret ingredient is for your beef stew, okay? We all have them. We all like to slide in our own secret ingredient. Mine, believe it or not, is onions and fresh rosemary. Those are my 2 secrets, okay? Now they can be yours. All right, so we're kind of stirring this up a little bit. And the object is to get a good kind of coating to this. Okay? And with searing your beef, before you actually make the stew, it will also help in the shrinking process. A lot of times, you get these big, nice chunks of stew meat, and then by the time you get ready for the stew, they're like this small. Yeah. Searing them will help with that process, okay? So, here we go. We're going to take the carrots, and we're going to use our quick slice. I love this. It makes easy work out of slicing and dicing. Why I particularly like this is because everything gets cut the same size. So, we're going to ultimately stick the carrots in on the base. You've got 8 blades, serrated, never need to be sharpened. And all you're going to do is rock this. Oh, you lost one because I tried to do it too fast. But there you go. Okay, let me just pick that one up. Otherwise the dog will eat it. It's tough. You always got to remember what falls on the floor in this house. Now, if you're watching this in my business page, and you're interested in ordering any of these products, I will provide the link, the shopping link, right after the video. If you happen to be seeing this video in one of my cooking parties that I've got going on, obviously you're gonna order any of these products with the host from that show. Okay? There we go. These are a little fat, so I'm just going to cut them in half because remember, I want them all bite-sized. All about having the right tools. I mean, you kind of see how fast I'm going with this. And because I'm doing it fast, it's going to speed up the time in your kitchen. Okay? And I'll do these last 2. There you go. Here's the carrots. Now we're going to do the same for the onion. Okay? What we're going to do though is we're going to actually cut the onion in half. Put that down. And you're going to rock it back and forth so that ultimately you get slices. Now these are quite big. You can leave them like this. Or you can just kind of take them, turn them, and now you have diced onions. You can kind of see what that's all about. Okay? So it's great for not only slicing, but it's great for dicing as well. This is a great little great little tool, especially if you have issues with big knives. I know a lot of people are scared of knives. I understand that fear. You know, having been in the food industry for a long, long time, I understand the fear. But idealistically, having the best knives you can will prevent you from ultimately. These are already small enough. Ultimately, having a fear of knives. Okay. So we're going to give this a quick stir again. And it's getting a nice coating on it, and I can see, I know you guys can't see at this point, but I'll show it to you when I take the beef out. Okay? And again, it's taken a little bit longer to sear all that because I put in a lot, okay? I figured why not? We like a lot of meat in our stew. In addition to that, it kind of will take off, cut up some of the process of actually doing it in batches, okay? So we're going to dice this last onion. Now if I was doing like a potato salad or something like that, I would use this also for the potatoes. But in this case I'm not, because I want to make them bite-sized, okay? So again, there's no magic to cutting potatoes, okay? You're just going to kind of dice them so that they're bite-sized. Robin, I like my stew a little thick. What do you suggest? Robin, that's exactly why I coated the beef with flour. Because the flour around the beef will not only protect the beef from getting hard and chewy, but keep it moist. But the flour around the beef, at the end of the cooking process, will actually thicken the juices you put in here. So ultimately, this is going to be a thicker stew. I'm with you there, okay? If you don't want the thicker stew, then you're going to put less flour. It all depends on the flour, okay? But again, coating the meat in flour and searing it a little bit will help that process, okay? And it's going to help to thicken it. And I'm going to show you how that's going to work as soon as this beef is done and we take it out, okay? We're down to about 10 minutes. All of the buttons here that you see on the quick cooker are all preset in terms of times. Okay, you're welcome, Robin. So now we're gonna just kind of dice these potatoes. Again, bite size, however big your mouth is. I know with us, we got big mouths in this house, so we tend to eat a lot of big food. What can I tell you? So we're gonna just kind of throw those in with the onions and the carrots, because those are all gonna go in at the same time. One of the things I was talking to you about knives, you know, I love our knives. This is part of our forged cutlery. If you notice here, let's see if I can bring this close enough so you guys can see it. I know it's messed up with the potatoes, but right here, there's a circle that says PC, and then there's one on the other side as well. If you take your thumb and your forefinger, and you actually put your thumb on that circle, and then you put your forefinger on the other circle, it prevents you from ever putting your fingers close to the blades. This is a shield guard, okay, it's part of the knife. But ultimately, most of the reason why people cut themselves with knives is because of how they hold them. That in addition to the fact that they're dull. You always want sharp knives, and you always want to hold the knife correctly. See, if you notice by doing this, and you're doing it correctly, this will hit your wrist. Okay, and that's what you want it to do, even when you're chopping, okay? Here's the problem. Most people hold a knife like this. And that leaves too much flexibility in your wrist for the knife, okay? There's a quick tip about knives. All right, this is seared a little bit. Okay, and it's not completely cooked, keep in mind, okay? But it's seared a little bit, okay? So remember now, we got 3 pounds of beef. Hey Michelle, how are you? We got 3 pounds of beef, 3 potatoes. Oh, I didn't even cut these. Look at that. Right into the sink. I'll grab another knife. Okay, so we got 3 pounds of beef, 3 baking potatoes, about 2 cups of carrots, and about 1.5 cups of onions, okay? Again, the onions are optional. A lot of people don't put onions in their stew, and that's okay. Put in what you and your family like, okay? Just dice these. Okay? So that will cover the potatoes and basically all the ingredients except one. And that is, I've got 1 box of beef stock, okay? Which equates to about 3.5 cups. This is a big box. I got 32 ounces. So actually, it's really about 3 cups, okay? The great part about making soups a lot in the winter, or the fall and the winter, or any time actually, is you can freeze them. Soup holds up really, really well. The only thing I would recommend, if you are making soup and you're going to freeze some, I wouldn't recommend freezing anything that has pasta in it, because the pasta tends to get mushy afterwards. So you ultimately want to make sure that if you're cooking up a soup that's got pasta in it, I would hold off and only put the pasta in the soup you're going to eat. Alright, this is browned enough. So we're going to use our scoop and we're going to take this out. Okay? And you kind of see it's not cooked completely. And we're not worried about it. We don't want it. Making lamb stew, that sounds good, Linda. Alan would love that. Okay, we're going to just take this out. And now what you're going to see at the bottom of this pan, it's going to look like a disaster, okay? But don't worry about it, because we're going to fix that and I'm going to show you. Robin, you may want to pay attention to this specifically, because this is how it's going to thicken, okay? Alright, there we go. Alright, so there's your stew meat. We're going to just put that aside. I'm going to get some grips. Little micro grips are great for this. Okay? And I'm going to show you what the bottom of this pan looks like. Okay? That's what the bottom of this pan looks like. So that's all the flour and the protein from the meat, okay? So now what we're gonna do, you can use red wine for this process, or you could use the beef stock. In this case, I'm using beef stock. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to pour a little bit of beef stock in here. The secret to this is make sure the beef stock's not cold. Obviously, if you did it with wine, then it's not going to be cold. You wouldn't want to put red wine in the refrigerator. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just take our spoon and we're going to let the beef stock get hot, okay? And we're just going to scrape the bottom of this pan because we want all that goodness to come off, okay? And you're going to leave that right in there. So if you think about it, that's nothing more than protein, flour, and beef stock, okay? And you can see it's bubbling away. So this is kind of the foundation of the beef stew, and this is what's going to really help it get thick, okay? And it smells amazing already. It really does. And like I said, all that beef had on it was salt, and pepper in the flour, okay? All right, this is nice and seared, and you kind of see we cleaned off the bottom, okay? The searing is just about done. So we did all that in one pan. That's the great part. Now comes the fun part. We're going to take the beef and we're going to put it back in. We're going to take the potatoes, the onions, and the carrots, and we're going to fill those in. Now the great part about this is, because we seared the meat a little, it has a timer on it for stews and chilies, which is 30 minutes, okay? We're going to actually cancel this searing process now, okay? But it has 30 minutes for the stew cycle. We can customize that, and we're going to do that. We're going to hit custom, and we're going to bring this down to 20 minutes. You could even get away with 15. But we have some big pieces of meat in there. I want to make sure they're all cooked, so we're going to keep it at 20, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the rest of the beef stock. We're going to save just a little bit for the end, in case it is too thick. Okay? So we're going to put that aside with the flour. And then we're going to actually add to that, we're going to add 2 cups of water. Now you can make this all with beef stock. I tend to kind of make it with beef stock and water. It's just the way I like it here. Okay? And then we're going to stir that up. And then we're going to put in my secret ingredient, just 1 twig of fresh rosemary. I love the way this kind of brings a nice hint of fall to the stew. You want to leave it whole, so you can just pick the whole stem out. And if some of the leaves or the little pieces of rosemary fall in the stew, that's okay. Let it sit. You can eat them. They'll be cooked enough. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the cover on. We're going to turn it. What you want to do is make sure the valve is pressed down. There's a little red timer button right here, almost like with the turkey things that pop out when the turkey's done. Okay? So we're going to kind of turn this. We're going to custom it. We're going to customize it. Or you could put it under 30. It's up to you. If you're really kind of not certain about the whole process, feel free to make sure you use the buttons and the preset timers there, okay? But we're going to customize it, okay? We're going to customize it. We're going to go down to time, And then we're going to just hit the minus button right here. And we're going to go down to 15 minutes, okay? And then you push the button in, you push the button to hit start. Now what you see here is a bunch of circles going around. This is allowing the machine to come up to pressure. So it's going to take about 7 or 8 minutes. The time it takes for the pressure to build up is all based on how much liquid you have in here. So realistically, we have almost 3 cups of beef stock, and we have 2 cups of water, so that's 5 cups. So it may take a little bit longer to come up to pressure. But ultimately, start to finish, this whole thing would be no more than 30 minutes. And you see how quick this was. Okay, now for those people who are kind of worried about prepping ahead, what I would have done, and I already have them in the refrigerator, that's why I didn't do it, is when I was slicing and dicing those onions, I would have actually done a couple of extras and put those aside. And this way I would have onions prepped for another meal. Okay? Any questions so far? Post any questions, any comments. I'd love to hear what your favorite soups are, what your favorite kind of go-to things are in terms of comfort food. I know we love soups in our house. Anything that has bacon. Anything that has bacon in is a comfort food or a necessity in our house. But macaroni and cheese, things of that nature, I'm sure it's a lot of the same of what everybody else is. I know a lot of people tend to go to the comfort foods of tomato soup and grilled cheese. That must have been a classic combination. Bacon makes everything better. Oh, it sure does, Barbara. You know, the classic foods like tomato soup, grilled cheese, things like that. I think it's a generational thing. I mean, I know my generation, we tend to kind of go for the comfort foods of sauces and cheeses and thick, hearty stuff, okay? So, in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of push the quick cooker aside. Now, I don't want to keep you guys on the video all this time, so what I'm going to do is afterwards, when this is done, in the same loop, I'm going to actually post a picture of the beef stew done. Okay? But I want to bring out the new quick cooker. Okay? And if you kind of look at these two tools, they're like husband and wife. There you go. Side-by-side beauties. This is our air fryer. This was on such a hot item that it became on back order for a long time. Happy to say it's no longer on back order. And customers can order it. The great part about thinking about maybe having your own show is you can get either one of these at 60% off. And I know I have some past hosts here on the video. Robin, you're one of them. Robin's house is completely full. So to the point of she's going to redo her kitchen now. But again, the concept is having the best tools at your fingertips, okay? The air fryer, again, comes with several preset settings. Air fry, bake, roast, rotisserie, reheat, and dehydrate. You can even dehydrate. This thing is amazing for reheating leftover food, okay? Leftover food in the air fryer, it's like having it this first day you ate it, okay? But if you kind of open this, okay, it comes with 2 trays, a drip tray, okay? And what I'm actually going to do, I'm not a big fan of store-bought croutons. I find they're too hard, and when they kind of, when they sit it there, so they get even harder and they're crummy in terms of chewing, not taste, okay? But I don't like the consistency. And I'm an avid believer with having the right tools, you can make anything that you can buy in the store. Most definitely. And if you want to challenge me on that, go ahead. But here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you all to, the next time you buy takeout food, or the next time you go out to a restaurant, I know with the whole COVID thing, we're all kind of being careful with that, but the next time you go out to eat, take a picture of the dish you're eating, if it's your favorite dish on the menu, okay? Because at that point, Post it to me, send it to me, post it on my business page. And I guarantee you I will help you make that. And it'll taste just the way it is. Okay? So, ultimately, I've got the air fryer. What I'm going to do here is all I did was I took some leftover Italian bread. And I took some leftover hamburger buns. Okay? And all I did, I mean, they were kind of day old, so they're getting a little hard, so I'm going to kind of utilize them before they go bad. I just diced them up, put a little bit of olive oil on them, and I used our rosemary spice, our dried rosemary spice, and just kind of coated them, kind of going with the theme here. Now, these will be for the soup as well, but we're going to have them, and I'll put them in an airtight container, okay? So, we're going to take the tray out. Get this thing out. Okay. We're going to just lay the tray on the cutting board. And then we're going to line up the croutons. I could eat them just like this. Bread is another one of my weaknesses. Okay. Lay them on the air fryer. On the tray. Some of the things you'll see me make in the air fryer a lot, I mean, toast. It's great for your toast, the bagels, things of that nature. Great for pizza. It's also great for fish. I've been doing a lot of fish dinners. So it's also great for that. And you don't want to overcrowd the tray, okay? But you're going to slide it in there. And you're going to take the other tray out. What I like about this air fryer, as opposed to the air fryers you kind of see in the store, is it's not a barrel shape. So you can do lots of different things and multiple things as well. If you're a fan of asparagus or any kind of like broccoli rabe, this is a great tool to have because you can roast it. Okay, roasted vegetables are amazing. All right, so we're going to put this in here. We're going to close the door. We're going to kind of turn this because we want to bake these. So we're going to go for the bake setting. You could do air fry. The difference between the two is really baking is preset at 350 and you can up it, or air fry is 400. The great concept about air frying is basically you get the crispiness of pan fried without the grease. Okay? So we're going to turn it to bake and we're going to hit start. And that's going to allow me to adjust the time. So I'm just going to spin the wheel down to about 6 minutes. And if you're kind of wondering where I pulled these numbers out of, each one of these products comes with a recipe book and a cooking guide. Okay, so you'll be able to kind of use the guide for basic stuff. The air fryer will air fry even from a frozen state. Okay, so we're going to hit start. And it's going to start. And we're going to keep our fingers crossed because I have an old house. I got both of these plugged in the same outlet, which is not a good idea in this house. Okay, but you can kind of see where it's going. It even has a nice little light there where you can turn the light on and see what's going on. Okay, you see the circle is still building up, but you can feel it's getting warm. The outside of the quick cooker never really gets hot, but you can feel it's getting warm. Okay, so the button's not quite there. We're waiting for that to come up to temperature. Okay, in the meantime, I wanted to talk to you about one of my new favorite products from Pampered Chef. This just came out September 1st. It's the old-fashioned wire potato masher. I remember growing up, my mom had one of these with a wooden handle. They weren't quite as durable and felt as comfortable in your hand. And I know even at some point I remember visualizing and seeing when I grew up, black tape on the handle because it cracked from just being old. The biggest benefit to this is wide rim, durable stainless, so it's easy to clean. It is dishwasher safe, but the biggest feature and benefit of this particular potato masher, those old-fashioned ones would have to go in the drawer and would always get stuck. So Pampered Chef has come out with the ideal solution. All you do is, you see these little notches here, all you do is take your hand, push on this, and this folds down. and it locks. So no longer will this get stuck in your drawer. I know it's not a big thing, but it really is a big thing. If you've ever struggled with trying to get a closed drawer open, you'll understand what I mean. Okay? So here's my take on one of the newest products, as well as the air fryer and the quick cooker. Yeah, see, I blew a fuse, and I knew that was going to happen. So I'm going to let you guys go. It's an old house. The house is over 100 years old, and it struggles with electric outlets, and I should have never plugged both of them in the same one, so I apologize for that. But anyway, I'm going to shut the video off now. Again, I'm going to post a link for my shopping link in this feed, and if you are in one of my open cooking parties, then ultimately you would shop with your host. Okay, guys, I hope you learned something new. Some great tips there, some new products. Remember, hosts get 60% off either one of these or anything in the catalog by hosting a show, an online party this month or next month. In addition to that, you're going to get a ton of free products as well. So, again, guys, I'll post a picture of the finished recipe, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Thanks, guys.